Hi everybody, Keren here from tuppencecoloured.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me today. This is what I've made today. Stay with me, I'll show you what I did. Taking a piece of the Mosaic Mood designer series paper that's in the new annual catalogue, and I've taken some of it. As you can see, I've chopped a bit off there, and what I have done is I've kind of fussy cut out all of the hummingbirds and the bits of hummingbirds actually that were on that piece that I cut out. So I want to use some of those, and with another one of the sheets from the same DSP, I have cut myself a piece that is 3 7/8 by 5 1/2, so that it's going to fit on the front of my piece of soft suede, which is 4 inches by 11 1/2, scored and folded at 5 3/4. And I want to have the hummingbirds and the flowers, but if I kind of put them just as they are, just like that, the hummingbird kind of gets lost in the flowers. So I'm going to try and do a bit of fussy cutting. So I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm just cutting around the edge of these big flowers. And today, this is a total experiment today. I haven't planned anything out in advance. I just knew that I wanted to use these two pieces of paper. And I don't know whether you've noticed, but as I'm cutting, I'm angling my scissors over so that the blades are not quite, but almost flat onto the paper. And that way I can see where I'm cutting, whereas if I go like that, and go upright, I can't really see where the blades are going. So that is a useful little tip that I learned some years ago for doing a bit of fussy cutting. And I could have made my life easier by chopping that bit at the bottom away, but honestly this paper is so glorious. So yeah, today I'm in a kind of a chilled mood, and I'm just going to see where my crafting takes me today. I mean, I've got a few ideas. Don't come in here cold. Right, okay, so let's have a look how the hummingbird now looks on that. And I think that's a lot more dramatic. I'm going to Now I'm trying to decide whether to just chop this or whether to do the I'm going to do the fussy cutting along the top as well. Okay, so yeah, I hope you like watching me fussy cut. I'll try not to take too long. So, yeah, today this is more of a craft along with me today rather than a tutorial. Because sometimes you just need to chill. So I hope you're enjoying it. And if you're not, thank you for staying with me till now anyway. And perhaps you'll come back and see me another time, and I'll be doing something that is more interesting. And now we're getting somewhere. Now I'm starting to really like that. Okay, I'm almost tempted to chop that bit away there, but I'm not going to, because you can always add it, but you can't take it away. Speaking of which, so now I'm going to take away these leaves because they're getting in my way a bit. See, it's just a bit of paper. You don't have to always accept what you're given. And now I'm starting to really like this. the leaves back, you know, somewhere else. Again, I'd shove that bit away. I'm using this stamp, and it comes from the Beautiful Day set, and I've lined my card up into my Stamparatus using my grid paper to help me keep it square. So here's the sentiment, and I want it towards the bottom of the card, and I want it to be nice and straight. So I'm going to use my ruler, just butting it up against the edge of the Stamparatus there. And let me just bring back my flowers to make sure I'm giving myself plenty of room, and room for my my hummingbird as well. So yeah, I'm going to go with about 1/2 inch from the bottom for the base of the stamp. Of course, you don't need a Stamparatus to do this. You could just stamp straight onto your card, and I think that's moved while I was picking it up and talking. So yeah, less talk, let's start again. I'm going to stamp this sentiment, which comes from the Beautiful Day set. I've set my card base up in my Stamparatus, and I'm holding it down with one of the very strong magnets. And I'm just going to use my ruler to help me line this up and make it straight and even. So I've put the ruler about 1/2 inch up from the bottom. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So I'm just going to pick the stamp up on the plate of the Stamparatus. I'm pressing quite firmly because these are the older style stamps, not one of the new cling stamps. Embossing buddy. Very, very helpful for making sure you don't get speckles of embossing powder where you don't want them. And Versamark ink. So I like to bring my ink pad to my stamp. So lots of light tapping. Sorry about the bumping and the bouncing. I'll be finished in a second, I promise. And push down. I'm putting some pressure on the top and giving the ink just a few seconds to transfer. You know, you don't want to rush it. Oh, excuse me, there goes the cat flying past, heading back into her little hidey hole, which is where she likes to sleep. Okay, put that back in its box for now. Now, if I've been using Versamark, I don't always clean the stamp, I know, but I do find that it actually kind of helps to condition them a little bit. So yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it anyway. Embossing powder. This is a mix of gold and silver, which I created by accident, but I then found that I actually rather liked using. And I'm just checking to see if there are any flakes, and specks was the word I meant to say. Excuse me, I'm going to take this away so I can get my nose right up close to it. Embossing tool. I'm going to turn it on to high, give it a few seconds to warm up, and then I'm going to emboss my sentiment. So yeah, I'm going to turn the sound down and speed it up. So there we are. I like to heat my embossing from underneath because you get a much smoother result that way. And yeah, I did still have a few little specks where I didn't want them, but you know what, there's nothing that I would stop a galloping horse for, so we'll just carry on. Now I can start gluing the paper in place. So I'm just running a bead of my liquid adhesive around the edge here, not right up to the edge because I want to give it a little bit of room to manoeuvre, but pretty close. And oops, just bring that in just slightly. And that's another thing that I like about my liquid adhesive, is that it is quite forgiving. So press that down with a nice clean cloth here. Right, and now the hummingbird. So which hummingbird do I want to use? So I think that one's quite nice. What else have I got? Let's have a look. So it needs to be flying that way, because one of the ones that's flying this way kind of looks like he's flying out of the card, and I don't want that. So that one, or there's that one. I think that's the one, I think. So let's have a couple of dimensionals. Let's pop him up so that he stands out a little bit. I'm saying he could be a lady hummingbird, you know, because I am not an expert on hummingbirds, or any birds for that matter. I'm actually a little bit scared of them. And if it's something like a seagull, I'm terrified. So I'm going to put a little bit of liquid adhesive along the edge there, because that's quite a skinny little bit and I don't want it really flapping around in the breeze. So, so here's my hummingbird. Got a little bit of adhesive on the flower there, and yeah, that's the front of my card done. Now, because I've used a dark card, I'm going to put a panel of the same DSP, but I'm just going to use the other side, and I'm going to put that on the inside of the card. It's a real shame. This paper is so beautiful. It's a real shame to kind of cover up any of it, but paper has two sides, and I cut this piece to 3 3/4 of an inch by 5 1/2, so that it sits in there with a border around it. That's the word. Some days my brain goes on strike. And this rose is cut from the rest of this piece. As again, this paper is so blooming gorgeous, you absolutely don't want to waste a scrap of it. And now I can either stick that down and it can be a decoration on my card, or what I think I will do is, where's my tearing tape? Excuse me for a second while I break out a brand new roll of tearing tape. Look at that. Never been used. I go through miles of this stuff, believe it or not. I know I may, let me put this where I can see it. Okay. I know I tend to be a liquid adhesive kind of person, but I do go through the tearing tape as well. Okay. And I'm just putting some of this just along the insides of that edge. Let me turn that over so I can see where I'm cutting. That would be good. Okay. Because if I put it like this, and stick it down, it will hold a gift card in place. It is what I'm thinking. Come on, there you go. So yeah, I wasn't going to do this when I started to make this card, but actually this is an old cinema gift card that somebody gave my husband some time ago, so I'm just going to push that in there to make sure that it fits. There we go. And I can get in one more hummingbird, maybe. I'm not sure. You see, I like that one, but it's too big. Okay, that one I think is going the wrong way. And I think, do you know what, I think this is time now. I was going to say time to step away from the card, but is it? Not if I cut this off straight, and then I can pop that. Oh, I love it. The great thing about being a crafter is that we never waste anything if we can help it. So I just pop that on the inside there. And there you go. So there it is, that is the finished card, and it was so quick and easy to make. And I know I love my elaborate projects, I really, really do. But when you've got beautiful paper with beautiful images, you don't really have to do a lot, it just does it all for you. So that is it for today. Thank you very, very much for joining me. I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and if so, then please don't forget to give that like button a click, leave me a comment, subscribe to my channel. Why don't you? Go on, be a devil. But for now, thank you very much for joining me, and I hope I'll see you again sometime soon. Bye bye.